Hello again, and welcome to step 3. The second part of it. I've had two bad stops with the videotaping, so this is in kind of a strange spot. What I wanted to let you know is I restarted and did the other lines in a video, and then lost the video, and then I realized that the lines actually need to go over this bar, not under this bar like we did in the previous video. So I am running it over, and it stopped taping in the middle of that one. So I'm just going to try and get this done and get a video out before this thing just completely decides to go. So I've gone over the top of that bar, and I have put the glue in. And I'm setting everything up so that essentially it looks relatively decent and reinforced. Now in real life, those are quick disconnects with some securing. I believe they're going to have stop nuts or something else on it, so it's not going to be just as simple as walking up and popping them off, but they're going to be a little bulky in that area anyways. It's not a problem. The glue is set, so there you go. Now that's going to be easier, much easier to keep everything all kind of pushed over. Remember and be careful. Yeah, see, that popped off, because we're going to be putting in further steps the photo etched steps on here. So you want to be underneath these pieces on the edge. Make sure you can reach that far. And yeah, things are not happy at the moment. But we'll get them that way. Now, this is a little tight on this side. What do? Well, instead of pushing it to the edge, we can run it right through the middle the way that it is. It keeps these wires from being too tight, but they're not going to block those photo etch steps. You don't have to push against the side because they're going towards the middle with that cylinder. Now I got to take this apart, clean it up, redo it. I'll show you how that's done. So the thing is could I have left those wires underneath and just ignored it? Yes, but it was wrong. And it's one of those details that if it's really wrong and kind of in a noticeable spot, you want to go back and do it. And yeah, it's a pain. I'm not going to deny that it is, but it's pain. And I'd rather do some of the screw-ups on here that we can all watch and see and learn from, rather than just breezing through this or saying, oh, well, no big deal, and then nobody learns nothing ever. Just be careful that when you're doing this, you don't snag the other wires and they run through. So when you're doing this, do it right the first time and run those wires over the top. Now this shorter one at 95 millimeters probably could use, maybe 97 millimeters. So you have a little bit more play in it. It's kind of tight, especially considering that it's going to end up going on the underneath the photo etch steps, like we were talking about with the other side. But we'll We'll deal with it one piece, one step at a time. We got to get this glued on, then we'll deal with setting it so that it'll fit underneath those steps. So glue is on. And I'm putting in a super tight edge while we speak, just to prep it. Now, let's say that I do this. Let's just talk about this while we're waiting for the glue to set. If I do this and I find out, oh well, geez, the wire just isn't gonna work. It's too tight. It's too much. I'm gonna actually tighten it up even more. So I'm gonna re-straighten it. Give myself that extra millimeter. I may even go back and cut new lines and put new lines in. There are some people I know who have, I'm going to use this word really loosely here, cheated. And they've gone, well, you know, I just don't want to have to deal with this. So what they do is they cut the wire for the line, and they set it, you know, up to the bar, up to there, and just glue it right here. And then they run another one and just glue it next to it. Nobody can see through the bar or underneath the steps. And they say, okay, there, now I don't have to worry about the headaches of it, and it's done. And I kind of admire that. That's ingenuity, that's problem solving, but it's also, in my book, kind of sort of cheating. Now that should work without any trouble. It's loose enough to where I can put the step on and it'll hold. Maybe. You don't want to put the photo etch step on that close after. Okay. So yes, we've made it past the 7-minute mark. This thing is still taping. That's great. The important part about this is to show that we have worked on figuring out how to do these lines a little bit better. I think they're going on a lot quicker than the other video, the last video. And I found the potential problem with them already, and it makes more sense now that I see that they're going over the bar. That tidies them up a bit more like in real life, and you can see on the other side one of the lines popped off. And I don't even remember which video now it was that I talked about it, but could it possibly be the glue that we're having problems with? You know, it's always possible that it's not the kit, it's the tool. That's why I'm having issues, is, you know, maybe the glue is poor in humidity, manufacturing, whatever. Could be a lot of different issues. But just keep problem solving until the problem fixes itself. Or I suppose, more accurately, you fix the problem. There we go. So what we've accomplished is figuring out where these lines actually go and rerouting them now so that the photo etch steps can go on without an issue. Don't sit and fret about doing the bending right now like I'm doing. That's not going to help. When we put those steps on, that will determine it. And there's a little bit of wiggle room in there. But that's how we want it to look. Now the next set of wires that have not been cut yet are going to go from here up to here. So they're going to be relatively short, but you can see they fill in and will make a nice spaghetti mess. But when we put these steps on, that'll be fine. Next is from step 2. We had the fuel tank. I wanted to show that it has been cleaned up really nicely. Just sanded it down in spots just to give it a nice look to it. I'm going to take my sander here real quick and just to make sure that these straps are nice and clean. Part of the problem is that sometimes you forget to do those, and so they'll leave that echo, that little bit of a line. You'll look at it and you'll go, oh, you know, I must have missed that. This is just to be sure. I'm almost certain that I hit it and that those lines are just faded. But anyways, so then we'll take this, and you can see here it is right there. We'll just glue that right in there and be done with it, and that'll be that. Just get my glue. Like so. And then sometimes you got to turn it upside down to find out the location. But there we go. I have it now firmly in place. So step 2 finally is completed at this point. But just wanted to show this is all done down here as per this. Add a couple of millimeters on, you'll get a little bit more slop. That'll make things flow in there a little bit better. I think that these would go better with an extra couple of millimeters. You can see they're a little tight, and that's why they keep kind of popping. But that is my suggestion on what to do and how to deal with these issues. Having these forceps has been a godsend. And these are just regular laboratory forceps that I bought off of Amazon. There we go. So we'll stop the second part right there. We got those hoses done. I'll cut the second set of hoses. We'll hook those up next time and get going with all the parts and all that, and we'll get through step 3. And I think once we're through step 3, we've kind of gonna hit the home stretch on pushing through all the other steps. So until then, we'll see ya.